Hello again, my name's Sue. Today's craft we'll be making an aquarium in a glass jar. Now for this craft what you'll need is an empty jar, cleaned, so perhaps you've grown up can go in your recycling bin and get your jar. You'll need pens, felt tips, pens, pencils, crayons, paints, whatever you have at home, a glue stick, some stones for the bottom. If you haven't got stones, what you can do is colour some paper in brown and scrunch it up and put it in the bottom so it looks like the bottom of the ocean or the sea. Pencil, scissors, rubber, ruler, thin white card and white paper. You don't have to have card, but it's good. And also, not forgetting, you need some cotton so that you can suspend your fish in the jar. So first of all, we get our card or paper and fold it in half. Okay, fold it in half again. And fold it there again. You can see that. So we've got 8 compartments there. Now, your average jar is going to be about this size. This was, I think it was a beetroot jar. Okay, so I can actually put my hand in, bearing in mind I'm a grown up. Okay, so we need to make sure that the fish are small enough and big enough to be seen in the jar. So if I get a ruler, the biggest fish in my jar is more or less 4.5 by 4.5 centimetres. Okay, so if you stick to that, so I'm going to put them fish back in there and just have a look at them. They're all quite different, so we want a bit of variety with our aquarium. I'll put that back in. There you go. So just do a guideline. So it's roughly 4.5 by 4.5. Let's do, so we're working within that size. And my first fish, you can do whatever shape you want. My first fish is gonna be like this. It's a fairly simple one. I'll put his fins on. Okay, and then what you do is colour the fish in whatever way you want to colour it in. So you can see that I've coloured in that first fish. Okay, so what we need to do now, and I went round it in black to give it a bit of definition, is cut that out, and once you've cut that out, you then colour in the other side. Okay, so we've done our first fish. So we've done in the same both sides, but you can do whatever you like. Okay, so that's the first one. So remember what I said about the size. So the next one I'm going to do 5 by 2. So remember our squares here. So again, do a rough mark. 5 by 2. Do a guide, and we're working within that guide for our next fish. And I'm going to do like a longish fish here. I'm not going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to use it as a rough idea. Let's give him then colour this in like you did this one, and repeat that, do another fish in a different shape, but keep within certain guidelines of size. Now we've drawn our fish and coloured them in and cut them out, you can draw on a smile, or you can cut one out like this, just to show that, if I can pick that up, we've done both sides on all of them. So the next thing we're going to do is make our coral and seaweed. So I'll take these fish off here. So what I did with this, I've got my piece of paper and just roughly coloured a quarter, roughly. And do both sides. Mainly coloured in with just a little bit of white. Okay. So you carry on with different colours, and to save time, here's one I did earlier. So as you can see, I've got 4 different colours, and they're like for like on the other side. And here's where we draw our coral. You don't need to be that fussy with coral. It's a bit branch-like really. And you come up to about halfway or a third. Okay, so let's draw a line here and do a wiggly, wobbly. That's a piece of coral. I'm going to do some seaweed. So I'm going to do a shorter one. Because the more variety of sizes you have, the better it's going to look in your aquarium. Let's do some pink coral. Branch out a little bit there. Do some weird shapes. The more weird you do, don't forget about cutting it out as well. Let's do another wiggly wobbly, maybe a tall one. And we can get another one out of there. This coral comes in all shapes and sizes and colours. Shall I do another one here? So now we've cut out our coral. I've not been mega fussy, because what I'll do, where I've cut it out where the pencil mark is showing, I'll put that so that it's on the inside. Okay, so there you go. So next thing we do, the practice piece that I did earlier to show you, we're going to use the lid of our aquarium and go around it once on this coloured bit, and then on the white bit draw around again. The coloured bit is going to be for the top, because we're going to give our fish names. Okay, or you can just put your name on the jar if you like. And this is so that we can attach our fish to the inner of the lid. And what we need to do is come in slightly when we're cutting. So come in slightly with the coloured one and a little bit more with the inner. So I'm going to do a rough, can you see? A rough line there, and then a rough line. Don't have to be as accurate with this one because it's going inside. So we cut round each of those inner lines. So now we get our plain paper and we pierce it 3 times for our fish. Okay, just pull through and cut off like so. There's your next fish threaded, and I'm going to thread this one again. So now we've threaded our fish, we need to measure roughly where we want them. So we want them all different lengths, so I'm going to put this one at this length. So hold it there and then push through. You see, this is, again, it's awkward or tricky. Bring it back to your jar. That's roughly where I want it. Okay, what we're going to do is put our glue stick, put our glue in here. Okay, so you can see, coat this lid. And just stick that side down. It'll still be quite pliable, you can still move it around, so that's okay. Then our next fish, we put at a different length, pull it through, and the same for the other one. So, your fish, there we are, they're all different lengths. And what you can do is peel this back if you want to shorten or lengthen. And you can gauge what's going on by placing in the jar. You can see there, they are all different lengths. Okay, so now the top of the lid I've already put glue on, and with what I coloured in earlier I've put the names of my fish on there. Like I say, you don't have to put names for your fish. You could put your name, you could do a heart, you could do a star, you could just decorate however you like. Okay, so we'll put that to one side. So now we're ready to put our coral and our seaweed in. So the side where you might have pencil marks, we don't want that showing, so that needs to go on the inside. So your good side, if you like, we just put a bit of glue stick at the bottom. And that's your first bit, so put it at the bottom, like so. Again, the good side. At the bottom. There you go. Stick there and alternate your colours. And go around your jar with the rest of your seaweed and coral to complete. Okay, so we've put our coral and seaweed in the jar. Mixture of colours, just glue on the end. So all we do now is tip our stones in. This was just some gravel from outside. And we place our fish in. And there we have our aquarium in a jar. Now I know this has been a fiddly thing to do, but I think you'll agree, or I hope you agree, that it's quite lovely and bright. So as an alternative, if you've enjoyed the craft, this is another one I did earlier, and I've got a seahorse in there and a jellyfish, if you can see. And you can draw these pictures from, if you go on the internet, you'll find pictures of seahorse and a jellyfish. So thank you for joining me today, and it'd be lovely to see your crafts. If you can share them with us, that'd be great. So till next time, bye bye.